Thank you. Okay, I haven't done anything yet, but thanks for that. That's very nice. So listen, before I begin, I always like to get a bit of a feel for the audience. How many of you in this room actually know who I am and what I do precisely? Raise your hands. It's two. That kind of hurts. So listen, before I begin, let me give you a bit of context on who I am, so then the rest of the keynote will make sense. So we need to go back about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was in university studying accounting, of course, fulfilling the Asian prophecy. An accountant, a lawyer, or a doctor, of course. And the degree, as you've heard in Australia, is called Commerce and Law. It's a 5-year degree, and about 6 months left in my degree. I came home and I had this conversation with my parents, and I want you to imagine you were there. So 6 months to go, I come home and I say, Mum, Dad, I love you. It's taken me a very long time to do it with the confidence to tell you this. I love you, but I'd like to quit university. My mum immediately starts crying. It's impossible to cry that fast. But she knows that if she cries, my dad gets pissed off. So my dad, on cue, rolls up his sleeves, walks up towards me, and he gives me one of these. He goes, oh, sorry, for those of you who don't know, that's what Bruce Lee does before he kicks your ass. So I kind of recognize the signs of danger, and I say to my dad, I go, Dad, don't do it, just wait. There's two things I have to tell you, Dad. Look, regardless of what you and Mum say, I'm going to quit university, regardless. And Dad, do you remember that investment property you purchased in 2001? And you said it was for motivational purposes. Commercial Law 1 and 2 at university stated it's a verbal contract between you and I. My house. I'd like to sell my house now, Dad, and use $100,000 of that money to build a business on the internet, to teach magic tricks. No one was laughing then. And just to make sure we're on the same page, I just told a 60-year-old Vietnamese man who's been through the war, he was on a boat for 2 weeks to get to Australia, just told him I wanted to be Harry Potter. So my dad at this point, furious, doesn't know what to do with himself, looks to my mum for instructions, who's now crying, for real? And leaves me in the lounge room, mid-conversation, walks over, grabs my mum, and they both walk into the kitchen. And I'm left there in the lounge room thinking, why would they go to knives? I'm in the kitchen, so I start to panic, and I'm thinking, oh, this is where they kill me. But I stay calm, and I go, no, I'm the only son, they're not going to kill me. And then they whisper, and my imagination just goes wild. I'm thinking, what are they saying? And then this is what I'm thinking my dad's saying. My dad's probably saying something like this to my mum, something like this. Don't worry, honey, don't worry, okay? We killed this boy tonight. We killed him tonight. Honey, don't worry, tonight, okay? Don't worry, tonight we make another one. It's not even a joke, so thanks for laughing. My brother was then born as a result. We're more than a decade apart, and just so you guess what my brother's studying now in university?
Accounting.
Medicine. What a jerk, right? So I think for a long time they felt like I had one son, my brother. But here's the crazy part. They came out of the kitchen and they said they believed in me. We sold the investment property. Never lost so much money so quickly in my life. However, we built the online business. And the online business is called Encyclopedia of Magic. This was the online business that teaches magic tricks. I started it in 2011. Fast forward to today, we're now known as 52 cards, and just as of last week, we now teach just over 1 million students from all over the world magic. It's one of the reasons we were awarded with Young Entrepreneur of the Year in Australia. So my parents have 2 sons again. I'm back in the game. In your face, younger brother. And you see, the final thing you need to know about me before we start the presentation is I now live in California. I spend the majority of my time teaching public speaking. I teach people how to use their voice, how to use their instrument. That is what I do now. So that's me in a nutshell. Now, just so you all know, I am part magician, so I will be bringing some of you on stage for this final part. So just so we're clear, if I pick you and you look away, I can still see you. In the next 15 minutes we have together, I'd love to share with you 4 things that have helped me in my life flourish personally and professionally. And I believe they can help you too. Again, we shall begin. The first point I'd love to speak to you about is what I call perspective. But I need somebody in the room who's never experienced close-up magic before. If you've never experienced close-up magic before, please raise your hand. Please don't lie. Please genuinely don't lie. Please raise your hand. Nice and high, please. Nice and high. I'm going to go with, keep your hands up if you've never experienced. I'm going to go actually, I'll go with the reluctant hand right there. Yes, it's you kind of got it down. No, it's the one in front, yes, with the glasses on top of it. Could you join me on stage, please? Can we give her a big round of applause? What's your name? Wendy, nice to meet you, Wendy, and please do have a seat, Wendy. And Wendy, before today, did you even know who I was? It's very offensive. Wendy, we're going to play a very simple game. The game is called Which Hand is the Tissue In? Okay? So we'll just do it with one first. It's a very simple game. So Wendy, I'll put the tissue behind my back. Point to the hand you think it's in. It's in the other one. Yeah. Sometimes I lie, Wendy. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Anyways, we'll do this again. Watch, I'll show you. Watch. I'll go once, twice. Which one's it in now? What would you say? It's in the other one. Yeah, I told the truth. You don't know what to do, so just stick with your decision. Don't listen to me. So what you try again, I'll go once, twice. I'll do it very slowly so you can see. Point to the one you see. Ready, watch. Yes or no, best thing you've seen in your life? Correct answer, thank you very much. We're trying again. I don't know why they're laughing. So watch this. Don't take your eyes off this. I go once, twice, thrice. This one's it in now. What would you say? It's in the other one. No, you should have stuck with it. Once again, you can't win. We'll try it one more time. So when we go once, twice. I do it very slowly again so you can see. So point to the one you saw. When you watch. So you see, right now, you know what Wendy's thinking? She's thinking, where did it go? So this is going to sound crazy, Wendy. It's going to sound crazy, but I want you to reach behind your neck, under your hair. No, I'm just kidding. That would have been amazing. That would have been magic, Wendy. No. Don't laugh. You would have fell for that too. So Wendy, I have to show you how the trick is done so you can join in on the point. Okay? So Wendy, look behind you. Oh, did you think? Yeah, there's 2 pieces of tissue. Wendy, all I did was I went once, twice, and I threw it over your head. That was basically all. Give her a big round of applause. Wendy, you're lovely. Thank you so much. Childishly simple trick, but thanks for clapping. So you see, as I travel the world and speak, people always ask me one question. They say, Vin, what is magic? If you had to define it, what is magic? You see, magic is just a problem you can't solve. Think about it. So for Wendy, when she was sitting here, what was the problem that she could not solve? How does Vin get his hair so blonde? No, the problem she couldn't solve was, where did the tissue go? This guy is amazing. She could not solve this problem, but every single one of you in the audience could. My question to you is why? Perspective. Very early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I started to learn that every single time there was a problem that I could not solve in my career, the reason I couldn't solve it was not because there was no solution, but rather because I'd fallen victim to a silo mentality. Started looking at things from only one perspective, my own. And then I made the assumption, this isn't possible for me. That isn't possible for me. But if I'd asked somebody else for their perspective, they would have told me the solution is this clear. This is what's so wonderful about this gathering right now. Some of you have been in this industry for a year. Some of you have been in this industry for 5, 10, 15 plus years. Think about how many perspectives there are in this room. It is the collaboration of these perspectives together that will help you solve any problem in your industry. But here's the thing. I don't want to just prove this to Wendy. I want to prove this to all of you, that the power of perspective, the collaboration of many perspectives. I want to prove it to all of you. So I thought, how could I do this? So I created a video. So I'm going to play for you a video. And as you watch this video, please, it's a magic trick. It's a magic trick. See if you can solve this problem here. Here we go. See if you can solve this. What you're about to witness is one of the oldest psychological illusions in the world. And before we go any further, I want you to make sure that every single card here is in actual fact different. That is the first thing I want you to notice. The second thing is I want you to see that the backs are all actually blue. Now the interesting thing about the colour blue is the psychological implications it actually has on the human mind. Now if you're actually here, I'll get you to cut the cards and you can pick any card you'd like at random. Because you're not, let's just go with a random card here. Let's say that's your chosen card, okay? Remember that card. It's very important you actually do remember that card. Because if you don't, this next bit actually won't make sense. So, look, I understand that this card here isn't your card, okay? I understand that the 10 isn't. But I want you to pretend that you can visualize your card in that 10 there. So watch. If you have a look at this card here, the funny thing is, it becomes your card. Now, did you see the change? Did you see it? Not the change there, that's not the change I'm talking about. Did you see this change here? You see, because if you didn't see this change, then chances are you didn't see this change. Every single card becomes red. Every single one. And this right here is one of the oldest psychological illusions in the world. Brilliant. So at this point you're probably thinking, well Vin, why did you show us a video? Why didn't you do it here live? The thing is, if I did it here live, you'd have over 700 different perspectives in this room. Of course you could solve it. But by sharing with you a video, you had one perspective, the perspective of my cameraman. One perspective. How could you solve that? It's highly improbable. So what I did on the exact same day was I put another camera in the corner to film the exact same thing. So I'm going to show you now the exact same thing from a completely different perspective. See if you can solve it now. I think you'll find this next perspective much more intriguing than the last. Same thing, different perspective. What you're about to witness is one of the oldest psychological illusions in the world. And before we go any further, I want you to make sure that every single card here is in actual fact different. That is the first thing I want you to notice. The second thing is I want you to see that the backs are all actually blue. Now the interesting thing about the colour blue is the psychological implications it actually has on the human mind. Now if you're actually here, I'll get you to cut the cards and you can pick any card you'd like at random. Because you're not, let's just go with a random card here. Let's say that's your chosen card, okay? Remember that card. It's very important you actually do remember that card. Because if you don't, this next bit actually won't. So, look, I understand that this card here isn't your card, okay? I understand that the 10 isn't. But I want you to pretend that you can visualize your card in that 10 there. So watch. If you have a look at this card here, the funny thing is, it becomes your card. Now, did you see the change? Did you see it? Not the change there, that's not the change I'm talking about. Did you see this change here? You see, because if you didn't see this change, then chances are you didn't see this change. Every single card becomes red. Every single one. And this right here is one of the oldest psychological illusions in the world. Brilliant. Oh, thank you for the How many of you saw the gentleman do this? It took 44 takes to get right. But you see, with the second perspective, how many of you solved the problem? Did you see me blatantly switch out the cards?
Yeah.
You solved the problem. But beyond this, with the second perspective, with the fresh perspective, how many of you then noticed all the changes that were happening around you? Do you know what those changes represent? They represent opportunity. Far too often, I know all of you are basically entrepreneurs, you're like me. A lot of the times we work in our businesses on our own and we don't have large teams and we get stuck in a silo mentality. And when that happens, you can't solve the problems in front of you. But beyond this, you don't see all the wonderful opportunities that exist all around you. As you heard from the panelists just now, the opportunity in the marketplace is absolutely incredible. You have so many breakouts during this conference. These are all different perspectives. My friends, it's the collaboration of many perspectives that power. If I spent all of my time by myself, I would have never built the online business. The online business was an opportunity that a different perspective, an online business person recognized that I was blind to. Perspective is power. So I thought to myself, what's the most powerful perspective I can share with you as a teacher in the realm of communication? Because I believe more than ever that this voice of ours, this is an advisor's instrument. This is a leader's instrument. You have knowledge in your minds and in your heads that if you share well, And if you play it well through your instrument, you can change lives. You can have incredible impact. But again, all that knowledge is lost if we don't deliver it well. I see these skills, communication skills, as being a bridge. And the stronger the bridge, the more value we can then provide and deliver across. So I'd love to share with you the 5 foundations of how to use this. But before this, I need to bring 5 people on stage. I've kind of already picked you, so please don't be alarmed. When I point to you, please join me on stage. Please don't resist it. It makes it awkward for you. Number 1, the lady there, if you could join me, please. Thank you. Number 1, thank you. Number 2, I'm going to go with the lady with the phone. Right there, could you join me, please? Number 2. Number 3, where did you go? The gentleman just up front, if you can. Thank you. Number 3, right there. Yes, yes, thank you. Number 3. Number 4, the gentleman there, kind of laughing at the other gentleman when we got picked. Thank you. Number 4, and number 5, I need another lady. I'm going to go with, yeah, actually, I'll go with the lady pointing at a friend instead. No, the one in front. The one pointing at other people. Yes, 5 people. Big round of applause for these 5. Come on, stage, come on, stage. And if I could just have that, there's one more. If I could just have that, girl, boy, girl. Oh, thank you for this. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good. Before we go into the foundations of how to use the advisor's instrument, I have to show you a piece of magic. There's a wonderful metaphor behind this. This is how magicians used to begin their shows in the early 1900s. I've got a pack of cards. All the cards are different, obviously. And I'm just going to wrap a rubber band around it so you don't drop them because you feel nervous. So in a moment, the 5 of you have a very important task. I need you to hold the packet of cards very close to your chest, lift the cards up, look at one card. Whatever card you see is the card you must remember. Okay? Don't take the card out, it's a memory game. Does that make sense? Okay, please. If you could do that for me, coach. Please don't look at her card as well. Look at one, lock it into your head, pass it to the next person straight away. Quickly as you can, quickly as you can. And then say the card to yourself once you see it. Say it to yourself over and over and over again. Please don't forget the card, because if you forget the card, the trick will be crap. Very important you do this. And then place the card back in my hands afterwards. Thank you. Perfect. Right now, 5 people are thinking of 5 different cards. None of us, including me, know what they are. Did any of you think of the bottom card, the King of Hearts? Anyone? No? Okay, that's too easy. Okay, good, thank you. So now we're going to play a game of what magicians call truth or lie. I'm going to ask you questions about your card. You have to sometimes tell the truth about your card, but sometimes you can lie too. Okay, try to confuse me. Does that make sense? Yeah. Notice hands behind the back. Yeah. Very dishonest. You're gonna lie. Yeah, you look, you change very quickly. That's very good. So the first question I'm going to ask you is the card red or black?
Red.
Very good, very confident. Thank you. Red or black?
Black.
Red or black?
Black.
Thank you. Red or black?
Black.
Sure it was. Yes. Red or black?
Black.
Good. What colour was it again?
Black.
Good. Sometimes hard to remember lies. Yeah. And was yours? Was it a 10?
No.
Was it a 9?
No.
Was it a 8?
No.
Was it a 6?
No.
Was it a 5?
No.
4?
No.
3?
No.
Good. I think I know what yours is. Thank you. That's good. Process of elimination. You told the truth the entire time. Sometimes lie. Make it fun. Was yours a 5?
No.
Truth. Was it a 4?
Yes.
Too much eye contact, that was a lie. Very busted lying, you can tell. I think I know what yours is, and actually I know what yours is already, that's fine. Name clubs or spades.
Club.
Good. Was it a picture card?
No.
Good, thank you. I'm going to name 5 cards. Please listen very carefully. Please face the audience so you feel more pressure. Listen very carefully. 5 cards. These should be it. 2 of hearts, 7 of clubs, Jack of clubs, Queen of diamonds, Ace of spades. If I named your card, walk back to your seat now. No lying. No lying. No lying. No. 2 of hearts, 7 of clubs, Jack of clubs, Queen of diamonds, Ace of spades. Walk back to your seats if you named them. You see, this is very unusual, and I'll tell you why. Thank you. Can we give them all a big round of applause, please? Thank you. I'm going to tell you why this is incredibly hilarious. Because here's the thing. If I asked any of you at this point, who could come on stage and perform this trick right now? Who could? Good, otherwise you'd ruin my point. Thank you. But you see, right now you have to ask yourself, why can't you perform this trick? Why? You can't because you just don't know how. You just don't have a magician's perspective. So I'm going to share with you how this trick works. And then you'll see why the result was quite interesting. It's because if you came up here and I showed you these packet of cards, what you'd notice about these cards is that every single 5 cards is exactly the same. How do you like me now? So that's why that was outrageous. But you see, let me ask you this same question now, regardless of how the trick went. Let me ask you this. Now knowing how this is done, if you put fear aside for a moment, how many of you in this room believe you could come on stage and do this? Raise your hands. Look what you... A moment ago, a minute and 23 seconds ago, this felt impossible. A minute and 30 seconds later, you gained a magician's perspective. What was once impossible 2 minutes later becomes not only possible, but easy. And this is what magicians classify as being an illusion. And one of the biggest illusions that exists in the world is having great communication skills. But why is this important for you again? Because as advisors, you have the information that can change lives. But if you do not play that instrument well, the information that can change lives is lost in communication. So just like there are 5 cards repeated over and over again, there are 5 core foundations when you use this instrument. Please do write these down. You see, the first thing is rate of speech. Rate of speech. And I want you to think about this for a moment. Imagine I was here on stage, and then now for the next 30 minutes that we have together, I kept this same rate of speech and I continue with this for the next 30 minutes. What are you all thinking right now? You're thinking, holy cow, how can I leave without him noticing? It's getting boring. We have to vary our rate of speech. But what happens is we don't think of this as an instrument, so we get stuck in a default rate of speech. And without knowing, we start to drone. Even though we're sharing the most valuable information ever, we must vary our rate of speech. There are times when we need to go quickly because that shows passion. But then there are times when we need to slow down because we're delivering new information and it can be confusing. Good. So the first thing is rate of speech. Oh, the second one, very important. Volume. When I teach out at my theatre in Long Beach, this is the one my students struggle with the most. Executives, no matter where they're from, this is the one they struggle with the most. Because imagine I came on stage and I did the following. Imagine I came out and I said, I'm very excited to share with you all the foundations of communication today. Very excited. You're thinking, what? I can't even hear it. Volume is critical because volume shows confidence. It shows you're confident in what you're saying. It shows authority in what you're saying. And it shows vitality. But again, it's not just about me shouting at you the entire time, because that's gross too. It's about varying our volume. Varying our volume. Good. The next one I'd love to share with you is pitch. Let me show you a quick thought experiment. How many of you here have a book that you've read more than 10 times that you love? Okay, good. So out of those of you who have your hand up, how many of you can recite for me, word for word, 1 page from that book? Oh, good. Otherwise, you'd be a freak. That's good. So let me ask you another question. How many of you in this room have a song that you love, that you sing all the time? Okay, good. So with your hands up, how many of you can recite word for word that song? Okay, interesting. Why so? Because in a page in a book, there's 280 words. In a song, there's also 280 words on average. Why do we remember the words for a song, but not a page in the book?
I don't know.
A song has melody. The moment you add more melody to your voice, what you say becomes more memorable. What you say becomes more memorable. And if it becomes more memorable, you therefore now become more influential. Melody is very important. Don't get stuck in a default.
You don't know the alphabet unless
The next one. Oh, this could be the most important. Tonality. Tonality is you feeling your words. When you're speaking with your potential clients, tonality is you feeling your words. Notice I'll say the same thing with no tonality. Tonality is you feeling your words. Or tonality is you feeling the words. The difference is you elongate the vowel in the word and you add some emotion. Feeling. Often when we're speaking, we just throw all of the words away. We kind of throw them all away like this. Don't add any tonality in them whatsoever. And we just throw them all away. Okay? I really appreciate the business. Thank you very much. No, I appreciate you, John. Thank you. Feel your words. Tonality. And the final one is pause. How scary is this? People are afraid of the pause. But the pause is so important because it gives people time to process what you've just said. And when you pause, it gives you time to listen. And when you become more comfortable with the pause, it gets rid of all the ums and the ahs and the filler words like and so. And it is incredibly important you remove these from your language. You're giving advice that can potentially change people's lives. If there's ums and ahs and fillers and non-words, it takes away from your authority. It makes you seem unsure. This is all I do on stage. If you watch me carefully for the next 30 minutes we have together, this is all I do. This is all I do. Simple, but not easy. And here's the part that makes it extremely powerful. Now that you're aware of the foundations of communication, when you meet a client, if you go into the room and the client comes up and the client says, "Oh, hey, great to meet you." They're using a low volume. So if I came in and I said, "Hey, John, good to see you, mate." That person's like, "Oh my goodness, this person's freaking me out." So now that you know this, you match their vocal foundations. And they will feel a level of rapport with you that they never have known before. So if they're quiet, you go in, "Oh, hey, good to see you, John. Great to meet you tonight." You match their foundations in an incredibly powerful form. Good. That's the second thing I'd love to share. The third thing I'd like to share, this is a bit more difficult actually, this next one. This particular experiment that we have to do, it was banned on live TV. But this is in person, so it's fine. I need a very specific person, so if you all don't mind, don't worry about the slide. Just focus on me for 2 seconds, just me just here. I need all of you to think of a number between 1 and say 10, a number between 1 and 10. If you're thinking of the number 7, stand up, please. Stand up if you're thinking of the number 7, stand. Good, good, good. Oh, healthy majority of you, this is great. So those of you standing, you're still in the game. So those of you standing, I need you to think of another number between 1 and 10. Not 7, but one that feels right for you, obviously. If you're thinking of the number 3, stay standing. Stay standing if you're thinking of the number 3, stay standing. Have a look around to all the people standing, everyone. Have a look around. These are the most predictable people in the room. No, stay standing, stay standing. Don't lie, stay standing, stay standing. I'm just going to go with, gentleman up here, what's your favourite colour? What's your favourite colour? Red? No. Gentleman, lady, right in the back in the black shirt, what's your favourite colour? No, there's no one else behind you, it's you.
Blue.
Yes. Sorry?
Green.
Green? If you had to pick a different one?
Yellow.
Yellow? Join me on stage, please. Everyone else have a seat. Come join me. Big round of applause for the ladies up there. Big round of applause. Come join me quickly as you can. Quickly as you can. Perfect. Thank you so much for volunteering. And as you make your way up, I just want to make sure that all of you understand this next piece is about influence. I won't tell you too much more besides that as she joins me on stage. Thank you so much for coming on stage. Thank you. My name's Vin. What's your name? Olivia. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you very much. And look, this is not my sister. Okay, I'm absolutely aware. We don't really know who I am, do you? You don't. I get to thank you. If you could just stand here, Olivia. And Olivia, face me, please. It's about influence. But I'm going to give you the wonderful opportunity to win 50 cents Australian. Worth less than this here in the US. So Olivia, I want you to hold the coin behind your back like this. Okay? And could I just kind of bring my slide up, please? I don't want to see, thank you. I don't want to see what she does. So Olivia, don't let me influence you. I'm just going to say one thing. Olivia, in a moment, this is a free choice. You can put it in whatever hand you want, okay? So just put it in the hand that feels right for you, okay? And the hand you have left, you can leave it empty, Olivia. Free choice. Free choice. Whatever that means. Bring your hands forward like this, Olivia. Good. Do you feel that was a free choice, Olivia? Yes or no?
Yes.
No. Did you hear what I said? I said put the coin in the hand that feels right and leave the hand that's left empty. I literally told her to put it into the right hand. She's up here a little bit nervous. She does exactly what I want her to do. Open your right hand, please. Open it. Open your right hand. Open it. Yes, good. That's 1 out of 4. Behind your back. You're perfect for this. No, face me. Okay, so. We're going to do this 3 more times. So, Olivia, you just put it in the right hand. What do you think most people do now? Left or right? Have a guess. Okay, they do put it in the left, but you don't have to do that. You just do what feels right. Make your decision, bring your hands forward. I won't look, I promise. Okay, do you feel that was a free choice? No. It's not. Because you see on the screen there's a big left in her peripheral. She doesn't realize it. As she blocks me out auditory-wise, she can't help but see the left. And that's exactly what she does. The second time, people always put it in the left. Open the left, open it! Open it! Yes! Good, that's 2 out of 4. You're very good at this game, Olivia. This is great. Okay, no, face me. So Olivia, here's the thing. There are 2 choices left. You cannot get this wrong. You only get it left. Don't listen to me. Don't let me influence you. It's a free choice. And then bring your hands forward quickly as you can. Did you put it in your pocket, yes or no? No, okay, good. I love this game. Because the third one now, she's confused. Do you know what she's thinking? She's thinking to herself, I hate this guy. That's exactly where I need her to be. Because the next one is always, no matter how many times I play this, the next one is always the right. Open the right, open it. Yes, it is! Let's go. Olivia, I'm just going to tell you what you're going to do now. I know you're going to keep it in the right, okay? So don't. Free choice. Don't think about it. Bring your hands forward quickly as you can. Don't think about it. Okay, last chance to change your mind. Would you like to change? Oh, sorry. Change or stick? Change or stick. It's inevitable. She's going to go home tonight and she's going to get super pissed off. But the last one, regardless of how you think, it has to always be the right. Could you open your right, please? Yes, it is! 150 cents. Give her a big round of applause. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what on earth was that? I did this to prove to you all. Influence is one of the most powerful forces in life. And we ought to use it to our advantage. But I don't want just Olivia to feel the influence, or the impact of influence. I want all of you to experience it. So I want all of you to hold out your right hands like this, please. Right hand, please. And then turn your right hands upside down. Point all your fingers together. Bend your arm 90 degrees. This next bit, do as quickly as you can. Please don't hurt yourself. As quickly as you can, take the tip of all your fingers, quickly as you can. Everyone go to your cheek. Turn to the person next to you, say, that's your chin, not your chin.
Listen. It doesn't work on you.
Did you do the right way?
You gotta listen.
Some of you went, wait, what? Doesn't count. It means you still fell for it. But here's the thing. What is that an example of? That is an example of what magicians call Simon Says, which is really a metaphor for visual influence. That was visual influence. 90% of this reinforces this. Up here on stage was an example of linguistic influence. I cannot prove to you anymore. Influence is one of the most powerful forces in this life. We ought to use it to our advantage. This next lesson profoundly changed my life. And this next lesson is for you as advisors. Because if you get this, you can have anything you desire in your life. And the lesson is simple. You can see how powerful influence is. This is why this next statement is true. My mentor David Griggs taught me this many years ago. He said, Vin, you are the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spend time with. You are the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spend time with. This is a wonderful quote by a gentleman named Jim Rohn, a wonderful speaker and author here in the US. He's unfortunately passed away, but his message lives on. This is an assessment of who you are in the present. If you're not sure who you are, look for the top 5 you spend time with. That's you. That's you. But what does it mean for the future? It's more relevant for us. What does it mean for the future? It means you can choose the kind of advisor you become in the future by deciding who you spend time with today. You know, I've wanted to be a speaker for many years. And I remember when I first started, I said to my same mentor, David, who taught me this, I said, David, I want to be a speaker. What do I do? And David said, oh, Vin, if you want to be a speaker and teach people public speaking later, you need to do 2 years of theatre, learn how to use your body. It's an instrument. You need 2 years of vocal classes, learn how to use your voice. It's an instrument. Funny enough, David had a school for theatre and singing. Brilliant, smart man. I did his school for 2 years, a total of 4. No speaking career in sight. So at the end of it, I went to David. I go, David, what's going on, mate? Where's the speaking career? He goes, oh, Vin, you're so silly. You spend all of your time with just magicians. If you want to be a speaker, bring a speaker into your top 5. If there's an attribute you wish to acquire, find someone who has that attribute, bring them into your top 5. So the stalking began. So I googled best speaker in Australia, and I came across this gentleman here. His name's Matthew Mihilovich, an incredible entrepreneur and even more incredible speaker. I saw him speak and he played his instrument flawlessly. One of the very few speakers who, when he spoke, I genuinely felt inspired. So I was like, I need this man in my top 5. So I emailed him every single 8 days. 8 days, because then every week he gets it on a different day. Keep things fresh. 6 months in, you will not believe what happens. He blocks me. Yeah. Ridiculous. I thought an entrepreneur would reward me for being persistent, but he blocks me 6 months in. But I fundamentally believe that I am the direct reflection of the top 5 people I spend time with. So about a year in, I keep trying, and I spent all my savings in 2014, and I purchased 1,000 of his books. My wife was very angry. I took this silly photo. I sent it to him with a receipt. I spent $23,000 on buying his books. Whoa. And I said, Matthew, please give me 15 minutes of your time. I believe in what you're writing, and I know I'm the direct reflection of the top 5 I spend time with. 15 minutes, please. A week later, he calls. I knew it was him because I'd saved his number. He rang once, and I was like, Matthew! Freaked him out, and he kid you not, these were his words. He said, Vin, you cheeky bastard. Next week, on Thursday, 1 hour. 4 times what I asked for. You see, since that day in October 2014, since then, he didn't know it at the time, but we're now best friends. He took me to Poland 2 years ago to teach me how to build my speaking career in the United States of America. I would not be here if it was not for Matthew. So my question to you is, where will you not be in the future as an advisor if you don't pick the right environment now? You are the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spend time with. Choose wisely. Good. The final point I'd love to share with you, I need someone in the room who's very good with long words. Please do raise your hands if you're good with long words. Let me rephrase that question. Please point to someone who's very good at long words, please, if you don't mind. Actually, I need a young man. Oh, is there a gentleman in the back who's willing to come on stage? Can we give him a big round of applause as he comes joins me, please? Big round of applause, please, as he comes and joins me. This next piece I'm going to share with you is a piece of magic that was performed in 1907. And when the magician performed this, he made the world believe that mind reading was real. I don't believe a word of this. I'm a magician, biggest skeptic you ever meet. This is what he performed, and it fooled an entire generation of people. And there's a wonderful lesson behind this too. Oh, hi. What's your name? Ryan, you're my first true volunteer, so thank you, Ryan. So Ryan, if I could get you to stand just here. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Right here, this one. So Ryan, I've got 3 books, classics. Stephen King, The Shining, classic. Da Vinci Code, classic. But the most classic of them all, Harry Potter. So Ryan, which one would you like? Free choice. Oh, Da Vinci Code, cultured man. Nice, good job, good choice. So please listen to me very carefully, Ryan. In a moment we'll begin. This is what the magician performed nearly 100 years ago. Ryan, in a moment, I'd like you to open that book. No, not yet. In a moment, when I tell you, Ryan, open the book to a random page. Random is critical, random is key. Please don't go to your favourite chapter because some people think I somehow know. But again, not very much, just random is critical, random is key. Do that now, Ryan, thank you. Random, please. Good thing. Oh, please be more, don't be ridiculous. Go random, go again. Yes, thank you. Good, and that, perfect. And I want you to look for a nice, long, interesting word. Don't go for the first one you see, Ryan. Oh, don't go to the top, that's ridiculous. Go random one more. Yeah, good, so we're random. Oh, that's good, that's much better. And then please, on the 2 pages you see, go for a nice, long, interesting word. Don't go for the names of the characters. I know them off by heart. So, do you have one, Ryan? You can change your mind if you want to. Stick or change? Oh, stick. Okay, good. So close the book now. Say it a few times in your head, the word. Leave the book on the floor. So right now, this trick is crazy in that no one writes anything down. No one circles any words. The person, the spectator, is just thinking of a word. And this is what the magician does next. Join me in the middle of the stage, right? So Ryan, in a moment, I want you to suspend all disbelief. And for a second, just believe you have psychic powers. And the way they do this is they say, pretend your eyes are like projector screens. And you're going to beam to the audience. Say the first letter. Okay. Oh, don't say it. It takes the challenge out of it somewhat. That's fine. It's my fault. I picked Ryan. Face me. We'll do this as me. No, not at all. It's absolutely fine. So try this with me, but don't say it. Otherwise, again, it takes the challenge out of it. I'd like you just to lock your gaze on my palm. Lock your gaze here. Lock. Good. Ryan, I want you to pretend you can see the second letter there in my palm. Oh, make sure it's in lower caps, not upper caps. It's a rookie mistake. See it nice and clear, lower caps, and it gets a bit bigger and bolder as it comes closer. Genuinely see it. It's almost like the sound comes from the back of your throat. Yes or no? Is it an E? Okay, good, thank you. Perfect, thank you. And the next part is, can you balance with your eyes closed? Okay, can you do that for me now? Thank you. Balance with your eyes closed. Oh, not 1 foot. That's drink driving, right? It's kind of went straight to being guilty. That was weird. So Ryan, both feet, please. Completely eyes closed. And Ryan, in a moment, you can just lift your chin up a little bit. Thank you. So Ryan, in a moment, I'm going to tap you on the left shoulder. And when I do, I'd like you just in your head, without moving your lips, I'd like you to say the word in your head over and over and over again. Only when I touch you on the left shoulder, not yet. You see the difference? It's starting now. Just nice and slow. I can see the movement, it's fine. Good, just in your head now, let that voice get louder, Ryan. No, louder than that. Imagine yourself screaming this at me, Ryan, and stop. If I get this wrong, it's Ryan's fault. Very obvious at this point. Don't look, keep your eyes closed. I'm going to show everyone else what it is first. He seems a bit unsure, but it should be. Don't look right. It should be this. It doesn't have to be this. Okay, just make sure. It should be this. You could have picked anything, but. So, Ryan, open your eyes. Did you change your mind a couple of times or not? Or... Oh, good. I told you to, but that's fine. But really, it's too late. In a very loud voice, Ryan, what was the word you were trying to send me? What was it?
Zestfulness.
Yes, it was. Give him a big round of applause. Thank you very much for Thank you for being here. Please, you have to understand. I learned this in 2012.
And in 2012, this was the impossible thing in my industry. Every magician said this could not be done. I remember reading about this trick in a newspaper extract from 1907, and it had 4 sentences that described this trick. I photocopied it, took it to all my magic buddies and said, we must learn this. This is mind trick. This is the most impossible thing in our industry right now. And they all looked at me and they said, bloody hell, Vin, calm down. A book like that has 100,000 words. Can't be done. That's 1 out of 100,000. You're an idiot. Obviously, I removed them from my top 5. And here's the crazy thing. My magic buddies who believed that this could not be done, guess what? They never even tried. They half-assed it. They didn't even give it a full ass. But they absolutely didn't. I gave it everything. I believed that there was a way, that if another person did it, I could too. I went on the journey. I found the method. So I'm going to share with you how this trick works. Because I know there will come a time in your career that you won't believe it's possible for you. That you, some reason in your mind, think, oh, I can't do that, that's impossible, I can't overcome the challenges, or I can't achieve that goal, I can't do what that person does. Not true. I'm going to teach you how magicians create the impossible with this as a metaphor. So you see, what's the first step to creating the impossible? The first step is that you must believe with conviction it can be done. But why is this belief thing so important? It's important because our beliefs dictate our actions. Your beliefs dictate your actions. If you believe something can be done, it dictates the way you act. So if you believe this trick can be done, you take the first step. And only when you take the first step can you see step 2. You cannot see step 2 from step 0. You've got to be on step 1. So when you're on the journey, you believe it can be done with conviction. What's the first thing I said to Ryan? I said, Ryan, open the book to a random page. And he bloody goes to the end. Oh, no, Ryan, random, and then he bloody goes to the front. I go, no, random. And I even did this, I went random, and then he goes, oh yeah, I'll go random, somewhere in the middle. And that's what everybody does. Because random to us feels like it's in the middle. So just like that, it's not in the first 25%, it's not in the last 25%. Random means somewhere in the middle 50%. So just like that, you take the second step. It is not 1 out of 100,000, it's 1 out of 50,000. It's a lot easier, right? No. You lose your mind on step 2, you die everyone, then you go crazy. But why do you keep going? Why do entrepreneurs, why do magicians keep going in the face of adversity? Or many of the advisors who build their businesses, why do you keep going even at times of adversity and difficulty? You keep going because you believe it can be done. So you stay on track. And you keep an open mind, and you keep an open heart, and you meet somebody with a different perspective. And there was a linguist for me that was a different perspective. And she said, oh, Vin, you're so silly. The next step is so easy. Just ask them to pick a long word, not a short word. I hated her so much that day. I go, what do you mean? And she goes, a long word is a word with more than 6 letters. So Vin, if you remove every single word in the middle 50%, how many words have you removed? 90% of that is now gone. You take the next step, not 1 out of 50,000, my friends, 1 out of 5,000. And the next 2 steps will blow your minds as to how this is done. But I won't share it. You're not magicians, it's irrelevant to you. The most important thing, my friends, is this first step. How do magicians always create the impossible? How will you create the impossible? You always give possibility the benefit of the doubt, not impossibility. How do magicians create the impossible? Regardless of the goal, regardless of the challenge, we always take the first step and believe with conviction it can be done. I'll leave you with a final thought, and this is the whole keynote coming together. You now know that it's your beliefs that dictate your actions. But where do your beliefs come from? Where do your beliefs about what's possible for you professionally, what's possible for you personally, where do these beliefs come from? These beliefs come from the top 5 people you spend time with. When you change your top 5, it changes your beliefs, therefore changes your actions, therefore changes the outcome. I'll leave you with one last thought. If any of you would like a copy of my keynote, or if you'd like I've got an online course to teach you how to use Your instrument is absolutely free for all of you, so if you want it, it's there. But I'll leave you with a thought from Steve Jobs. Everyone know who Steve Jobs is? Yeah. Apple. What a wonderful charity. you give them money every 6 months and you get a free iPhone. It's fantastic. Yeah, but Steve Jobs has a quote that I believe is so relevant to what you all do. And it is this. He says, those people in the world who are crazy enough to believe that they can change the world, they are the very people who do. Those of you in this room who are crazy enough to believe you can achieve anything you desire, and in the process of achieving that abundance for you, you change lives and you have an impact. You're crazy enough to believe you can do this, then my friends, you are the very people who will do just that. Good luck. Thank you very much, my friends.